Come on, we'll go for a walk shortly. Let me just record this. Hey! A bill in a china shop. Hello. It's time for a December reset. Hang on, let me move Bill's duck. She really wants to go outside, so we've gotta get this show on the road. Anyway, hi, I'm Georgia, and I'm all about trying to live a creative and stylish life without screwing my bank account or the planet. So on this channel, I do a lot of DIY, thrifting, upcycling, just vlog stuff as well, but also personal finance and organization and goal setting. And 'tis the season, right? Maybe not so much for budgeting because it's a spenny time, but I'm definitely in my goal setting, thinking about 2026 mindset, which is pretty fun. In this video, I'm going to be reflecting on November, checking in and updating my goals progress, looking at what I spent in November and budgeting for December. I might be a bit fast and loose with that because I just feel like it's pretty hard to have a budget in December, and chat a bit about how I budget for the holidays, particularly gifting. I struggle a lot with this a lot of the time because I have 8 nieces and nephews and I want to get them all something and I want to be the cool auntie, but I don't want to spend $2,000 on stuff that they will get rid of in a year. So I created this spreadsheet to try and track how much I'm spending across all the different people and also track who I've bought presents for. I'll include the link in that. I put it on Gumroad for a couple of bucks if you want it. But the main tools I'm going to be using are my Notion goals tracker and my Google Sheets annual budget dashboard. Before we jump into it, if you're new here, as I said, my name's Georgia. I currently work a salaried job 4 days a week for an NGO, but we got notifications that we are at risk of redundancy. So I might still have that job in a month. I might not. I don't know, but that's my current setup. I do that 4 days a week, love it. And then I have content creation on the side. So I have a business set up for that and pay myself a salary. I live with my partner and dog in Sydney. We have a mortgage on our house. And I'll chat a little bit more about how I manage my money when we get to the budget section of this video, because today I'm going to do my reflection first. Normally I do my budget first, then my reflection and junk journaling, but I want to do my reflection first. So this is my 2025 goals dashboard. I split my goals into outcome goals and then input goals. So outcome goals are the vision, pie in the sky, what I want, but they're not necessarily, like, I think a good example is I want to weigh X kilos is the outcome goal. And then the input goal is go to the gym 4 times a week, because that's the thing that I actually really want to be able to tick off is what I put in. You can't control the outcome. Anyway, so the vision is the outcome goals. And then I write a strategy, which will either be habits down here or project goals up here. And projects I break up into seasonal projects. So I'm actually finishing, or I've just finished my 2025 goals because I go from December to December. I am going to post a video setting all my 2026 goals, but I think I'm going to do that closer to New Year's because that's when people will be looking for that content, but I'll show myself filling out this dashboard. But for now, let's jump down into the November reflection, the last one. So basically most of the month, Jai, my partner, and I were ships in the night. He was traveling for work, I was traveling for work, I was at a hens weekend, and it just really threw my routine off. Some of the highlights were one of my oldest friends is getting married and we had a hens weekend away for her down at Vincentia. It's like one of the most beautiful places in the world. Then I went to Adelaide for work, which was just nice to be away for a few days. And it was busy, but I really like Adelaide. As I said, the potential redundancy highlights for me aren't necessarily good things. It's just kind of what I want to remember if I reflect back. As I said, I had a bit of a habit lull and routine lull, but I got back into therapy, so that was good. Pinterest junk journaling event. That was right at the start of the month, I think. Let me find so normally in these videos, I end them by junk journaling the month in my calendar, and I haven't done that yet. I think I might just do that watching TV tonight, but I want to show you, I've already done half the month because I'd kept aside some things to put in my junk journal, and I've got my AdSense confirmation because that happened this month. So that's what I did at the junk journaling event. I've been trying to experiment with it this year because I historically, when I was a child, loved scrapbooking, would collect heaps of stuff and then never actually stick it down because I'd obsess over it being perfect and like, oh, what if I actually want to use this sticker somewhere else in the future? Or, you know, do I have photos to represent every single situation, whatever. So then when I heard about junk journaling, I was like, cool, it doesn't have to be pretty. Great. So these are some examples of ones I'd done this year. Like, it really was just sticking down anything I found. This is in my annual planner, by the way. But then I saw, I think her name's Martina, what's her name? The junk journaling girl, Martina but she was hosting an event and I realized that you can put really pretty papers and stickers and little thingies and letters. So I want to do that more next year. It's just nice to do something low pressure that isn't scrolling on your phone. What else? TikTok awards. It was weird. I'd never been before. I didn't really know what to expect. And last minute, one of my friends could come with me because Jai was away at that stage. So that was a relief because I feel like I would have been quite shy if I went alone. But it was really fun. What I did think was odd was it was an event that went from 3 p.m. till 10 p.m. But I didn't see any food. It was buy your own drinks. I didn't see any food available. Apparently there were some food trucks somewhere. But I was like, how does that even pass RSA guidelines? So it was just all a bit... I don't know, it wasn't my favorite way to run an event, but it was something definitely unusual as far as my regular routine goes. So that was a bit of fun. Then the most recent thing, as I said, we own our place. We own the back of an old shop, and I've done lots of DIY improvements since I've lived here and got it to a state where I can definitely make it nicer. But when my friends have been saying, what's going on with the house? What are you going to do next? There isn't a lot that we can do that isn't going to be like tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. And what I mean by that is like, for example, we have a carport that I use as a DIY space and the ground is super uneven. There was a tree that grew underneath it. There's old pavers. There's bits of broken cement. It's just like a landlord's delight in there. And so it would be really nice to pour a concrete slab or new pavers or something to be able to make it a more usable space, maybe enclose it so it wasn't full of dirt and leaves and things like that. So I think, cool, I just want to pour a slab. But actually to do that, you have to install like a support for the roof, which requires certain permits and possibly a DA and all these other things that I'm just, every time I hear it, I hear another 10K being added. So then if you do that, you're like, well, we want to replace the floor inside at one point. So would we just do it all in one go? Would that be better if we need to get a DA or, you know? So everything is just like, everything begets another incredibly expensive task. All of that to say, for us to do any extension at any bedrooms, at the moment it's just like a 1-bedroom mezzanine loft vibe. I thought we'd have to change the entrance to how we access our home. And so anyway, I tried to cut it. It looked like it was going to be probably 10 years away or maybe we'd sell. Anyway, for some reason I woke up the other day and was like, maybe just check that rule that you thought applied to you. And I think it doesn't, which means that we might be able to renovate sooner. Not soon, but like maybe like 5 years or 3 years rather than 10, 15, because it would completely change the affordability of the project. So I know that's really vague, but I already walk around my house with my arms crossed. Jai's always like, oh my God, go sit down, because I'm always just staring at a wall being like, I wonder if I put this there or installed this like that, blah, blah, blah. So you can imagine now if I might be able to do a complete whole renovation project, even if it is a pipe dream at the moment, I'm just staring here being like, and if we knocked that wall out, yeah, maybe if we brought that in 50 centimeters, yeah, Jai, what do you think? And he's like, what? Why are we talking about this? So it's a tendril of a piece of information that may or may not affect my life in years and years to come, but it got me inspired. And what more can you ask for? Now, my monthly report, REPORT. For reading, I finished Everything I Know About Love, finally. I got it from the library and then had to return it because someone else had borrowed it before I got to finish it. And then I got it again, so I finally finished it. And I've just started All Fours by Miranda July, which I'm enjoying. And I'm not very far in, but I've heard really good things about, so I'm excited. I also had been reading Stolen Focus by Johan Hari. And I had been finding that really interesting, but I've just kind of paused it for a bit. I think I just wanted a bit of fiction again. Eating. I think I showed this in a vlog a few weeks ago, but when I was up in Byron in October, my friend's boyfriend is a chef at a restaurant and I had this salad and it was so good. And it's just kind of whatever you've got in the fridge with some greens and cranberries, green olives, feta, seeds. I don't know, it sounds like nothing, but it really has been rocking my world lately. Playing... I bought a Sudoku book when I was in Adelaide, and also 2048. Do you remember this game? Oh God, now I want to play it. All the more reason to be quick. This game, I feel like I remember it being a thing maybe when I was in high school, and my colleague was playing it the other day and I loved it. You all right there, Bill? Okay. Obsessing, the C Word podcast. It is a podcast, but It is a podcast hosted by Lena Dunham and Alyssa Bennett about women who have been called crazy in the past. And it's just really good storytelling. They're very funny. It's very engaging. And I love a crazy bitch. Recommending my curation journal because it's this time of year. People are just looking for journals. I love it. It's got lots of a dot journal and then also a daily to-do list. And I just find it's the right amount of structure and also looseness for how I like to plan. So I'm a fan of that one. I got a discount code. It's just Georgia. And treating. Cherries are in season and mangoes. We got our first punnet of cherries this week. And I had recommended this previously, but the Licks condensed milk and caramel ice cream. Holy moly, she's good. She's good. Lesson. I had a lesson and then I forgot it. I think it was, is this a lesson? It was that I just really love libraries. The day is better when I go to No. Any day is improved with a visit to the library. I'm loving the library. I think it was one of my recommends earlier in the year. I'm such an all or nothing person that sometimes if I'm kind of thrown off course by 11:30 in the day, I just chuck the whole day away. But I forget that I can just go to the library for 2 hours and get a single task done. And that's enough. And my day will be better if I've done it. It's like going for a walk. My day will be better. So love the library, love borrowing books from the library. It's made me read more because I'm trying to finish it before I have to return it. Just obsessed with it. Now habits. These, I'm going to expand this because I need to fill them out. Okay, I need to, how many alcohol-free days? Not many. I'm just going to update this and then we can reconvene. Okay, so as far as my goals, I probably had a few more alcohol-free days this month than that. When Jai was away, I often had a bottle of wine open and would just have a glass. When we were in Adelaide, we were socialising quite a bit. I don't think I don't think I had any hangovers. The hens, I had a hangover, but even then, barely. Maybe it was 10, but most days I had a glass of wine. I think next year I want to change that to a goal that's standard drinks per week, look up the recommended amount because I binge drink way less than I used to when I was in my 20s. So I think I have a healthier relationship with alcohol. So yeah, I'll have to think on that. The rest were all pretty to be expected in an average, not on top of my game month where I was pretty good with work and content. Reading, I was good. I hit my book goal. I think Billy farted. But my general routine of exercise, no alcohol, steps, that sort of stuff, not as good. Onwards and upwards. For the goals that I had set for spring, I'd wanted to create a brand identity for Okay With My Hands, and I did only fulfill 33% of the to-do list tasks that I'd set out, but I'm feeling much better about it than I was 3 months ago. And I think it's literally just from having some fonts that go to for me that I like. So I'm planning to review my analytics in January, and that's one of the tasks I had on this particular goal was to find my target audience and that sort of stuff. So maybe when I look at my analytics, I'll have a better sense of that. Launch the 2026 budget spreadsheet. It's currently available. I just wanted to make some tweaks and make some other color versions. And I just haven't looked at it for a while. So I'll try to do that this week. Same with setting up my own 2026 goals. They're all there. I just need to probably condense them a bit and add my images and flesh out the strategy. Go fruit picking. I really wanted to do this from last summer and I had it planned for the last weekend of spring, so it would count as this year, and then it rained. So we'll get there. Spring clean, did a bit. I haven't planned my Mending March content, but I'm thinking about it, so that's okay. Didn't get all my clothes on wearing. I like the idea of tracking my clothes, but I think realistically it's just an unnecessary additional administrative task for me. Maybe I'll want to do it next year, but that's fine. That was a fail. And finished the courtyard project. Didn't make much progress. It was just a busy month. She's looking better than she was 12 months ago, and that's all I can ask for. So let's just have a quick look at the overall goals. These were basically the vision board goals that I'd set at the start of the year. Be fitter and stronger than I've ever been. I don't think I'm as disciplined and shredded as I hoped when I wrote this goal at the start of the year, but I want to give myself some credit for the commitments that I have made. So I'm going to list that as almost there. Have a consistent meditation practice. I think it's just not for me. I find peace in other ways. I think I did the 30-day calm course and it just didn't stick. I did breath work for a while. Just felt like another task that I had to tick off and I didn't get much out of. Strengthen my relationship with Jai and experience more joy together. I think we made a lot of progress on that actually. No buy year on certain products and get creative and sort my mending pile instead. I didn't really sort my mending pile, but I was a very conscious consumer, I would say. I'm buying less and less crap every day, even with thrifting. And that's something that I really want to take into 2026. I'm trying to figure out how to measure it, but I want to be really intentional with everything that I own. Similar with all the other things. Oh, I can change this to complete because I did officially this month reach 15K in my emergency fund. I got monetized. I only set that as a goal in July because at the start of the year, I just thought it was so unrealistic. And then it happened a few months later. And I wanted to sell a certain amount of products. I wanted to sell 10K of digital products on Gumroad. For literally, the number came out of my butthole. I think I've sold maybe $600 worth, but I marked it as you did all right because I put all those steps in action. I've created my own templates like Notion and Google Sheets for years and loved using them, and I've just never gotten to the point where they can be sellable, like checked that they're perfect, created the listings, tried to think about someone else using them that isn't just me. And it actually takes a lot of work. So I'm proud of myself for even getting them up there. And yeah, the 10K was just an arbitrary large number that I was like, cool. So I'm happy with that. Now let's jump over to the budget. So let me just tell you a bit more about my money and how I manage my money in case you're new here. As I said, I have a salary job, but then I pay myself a salary from my content stuff. I put all of that into one account and then I transfer it out to the places that it needs to go. I'm a big sinking fund user. I've actually just recorded a video to explain sinking funds. I'm going to have that coming out in the next few weeks, so keep an eye out if you want to learn more about those. My partner and I use a yours, mine and ours system. So basically we get paid separately into our own accounts. We both put the same amount because we earn similar amounts into our joint accounts, including our mortgage and our general spending and some shared savings for like trips, our dog, that sort of stuff. Sinking funds basically. And then we have the mine portion. So for me, I have my own savings, my own sinking funds, my own spending, my own investments, and that's what I talk about in these videos. My main financial goal for 2025 was to hit 15K in my emergency fund. I'd previously had that. It got decimated when we had a bathroom renovation nightmare and I had to dip into my emergency fund, not dip into, empty it. And I can officially say we're at 15K in the emergency fund. And now I'm thinking it should probably actually be 20K or more, but doesn't matter. That's where we're at now. So overall, I'd set a budget of just under 8K and I did actually spend quite similar to that, but I unexpectedly got paid from AdSense. I actually got monetized a few months ago, but hadn't been paid because they hadn't verified me, yada, yada. So I got paid about $2,000 from several months of videos. So I just put that straight into the savings. And yeah, it hadn't been expected. So it looks like I'm over budget, but most of that is savings. So all of my bills were pretty much the same except my health insurance. Everyone in Australia seems to have already known this, and I wasn't born with the knowledge that once you're over 31, you want to have hospital cover because it reduces your tax. Otherwise, you're just paying the tax without the cover. I didn't realize that. So I've now got hospital cover and it's an extra $80 a month, I think. So yeah, going to have to bump up my bills budget significantly. Everything else, I haven't actually reviewed any of this. Surprisingly came under for groceries. I thought I'd be quite high because Jai was away, so I was buying most of the groceries on my own account rather than our shared account. Normally my groceries are pretty low. Admin, health, all of that was pretty much to be expected. I went a bit over on fuel. Again, normally we share it, but because I pretty much had the car to myself this month, I just paid for it all myself. Tolls are always, when will I learn? Why were they even that high? Sydney roads tolls are just crazy. Coffee came under, good for me. Eating and drinking out, I was a bit under as well. Holidays and travel, I wonder why that was higher. I spent a fair bit on the hens, but what else? Let's see. It was literally all for Leela's hens. So over in my annual dashboard, I can see I have some tags. So some expenses will be in a category like groceries, but it might be that we're going on a group trip and I want to know how much I spent on the total group trip, whether it was petrol, groceries, yada, yada. So I created tags. So for Leela's Hens, which was my main trip, was $512. Note also, these tags are just for my own expenses. For example, India, I spent more than that, but most of it was on the joint card. I was thinking of making like a 2025 budget review where I look at every dollar that I spent, i.e. including my joint account. Like I had created this tab over here, which is I've combined the two spreadsheets to show my total expenses. This is across the year, but I could essentially make an annual dashboard for all of my expenses, which I think would be quite interesting. I just don't know if it's interesting only to me or if other people want to know. So let me know if you want to see that. We'll see if I can be bothered. Where were we? Yeah, so I just went over budget on Leela's Hens. I'd budgeted $500 for clothes and shopping because it was Black Friday and I thought I might grab some stuff. And I decided, no, actually, I really want to hit that emergency fund goal. I bought a couple of pairs of bike shorts because I was running low and I'd been eyeing off some sneakers, but I think I'll just wait. Maybe I'll ask for Christmas from my mum. Yeah, I just didn't buy much. Why did I go over for home decor? Oh yeah, I bought some Christmas decorations, but sorry, my camera battery died, which really is a sign that I should wrap this baby up. So home decor, I bought some Christmas decorations, which he's not really into Christmas, and I did it while he was away, so I didn't want him to see it on the joint card. I got them from Savers. I got secondhand, but I posted a vlog about decorating if you're interested in that. But yeah, bought a few things. I also had to get something for a project for Okay With My Hands. Bit of this, bit of that. Hair and beauty, I think I knew I had a hair appointment, and it was more expensive than I thought. I spent quite a bit on takeaway. I think that must have been when I was in Adelaide. Booze, why? What? I just realised the booze I'd bought joint account stuff, I'd accredited it to me. So anyway, it was actually not too much. And gifts. I've done a lot of Christmas gift shopping this month, but mostly on the joint card. So didn't spend too much on that yet. Completely decimated my sinking funds. I had to empty every single one of them this month, but that's all right. That's what they're there for. And savings, I reduced, for example, the Christmas fund, Black Friday fund, because I'm not going to need them for a while. So I moved that money into my emergency fund and topped that up so that I could hit the 15K. And then my investments are mostly automated. So that's pretty much it. Now I've decided I'm not actually going to set a budget for December. Basically, I've transferred myself a bit of a buffer, but I just think this month is going to be too hard to predict. We've got a lot of social goings on and I don't want to be saying no to anything, basically. I'm not planning to do any shopping for myself, but I am planning to have a lot of long lunches, a lot of beers after the beach, that sort of thing. And I just think there's not really much point setting a budget that kind of means nothing because I'm not going to be trying to restrict myself and I don't know what's going to come up. However, what I am going to show you is my Christmas spending tracker. And I've got to update this actually. So basically I put here, and I hope that if you're one of my nieces or nephews, you're not watching, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't. I put here everyone that I wanted to buy for. I put a budget and then I log all the transactions over here so that I can check. These are the older nieces and nephews. These are the younger ones. And so I obviously spend a bit more on the older ones because they've got more expensive interests. This helps me see how much I'm spending on people in proportion, how much I'm spending on total, how many people I've ticked off. I did have a suggestion to add a gift wrapped or posted column to tick, which I think is a good idea. And I also was thinking of making it so that you could also budget for your like grocery shopping and travel and that sort of stuff. Obviously this would be for next year. So let me know if that's interesting to you. But I think I've got a few transactions to add. I've spent 60% of my budget. I think I'm like a pretty good way there. I can tick off Charlotte. Should probably get something else for Izzy. Still got to figure out what to get Grandma. She's tough. And my mum, I want to get her a spa voucher, but she's so busy that I can also imagine that she just wouldn't have time to end up using it. I think I need to check actually. I got them a winery voucher last year and I don't think they've used it. So that's that. Now that Big Beautiful Bill has finally relaxed, I'm going to get her up again to take her for a walk. Even though it is the silly season, I'm kind of feeling more motivated to stay on top of my healthy habits than I was a month ago. I think I'm going to treat this month mostly as a reset. I'm starting my summer goals, but at a very slow pace. I hope you found this video useful. I'm planning to post a fair bit of sort of reset, budget, goal setting content over the next few weeks because it's my secret kink, really. So if there's anything in particular that you'd like to ask me or know how I plan, let me know.